sleep, look for ultimate there. Obviously, of course, you have the root from Senna, you have a gold card from the TF, but these are not super easy, reliable engages to go on. TL, it's basically the same story as last time. They are trading a little bit less utility engage that they had, with that Ashe for obviously kind of the more straight up powerful DPS style champion here of the Caitlyn, more ability to siege with that extra long range. We'll see how well they can contest this 2v2 though, because with the Karma, a fairly dominant support in this bottom lane, will they get locked under their turret? Kind of similar to what happened to the Caitlyn last game. Because if you can take this Senna Karma and pin CoreJJ and Tactical under their tower, you can remove a lot of the power of that Caitlyn, a lot of the sieging potential, the ability to pick up plates in the early stages. So it is an interesting look, and they have TF to play to a side lane towards the Lilia perhaps. They have Senna with a cross-map ulti to throw in shields in case of any sort of 1v1s there also. So they are going to be able to have some ability to make plays here.
Yeah, excited to see what Golden Guardians bring to this second game. They are down 0-1, as the scoreboard shows you, as we take a little tour of Summoner's Rift. TL, of course, I was going to say, it's basically the same story. I thought it was the same story. It is slightly different, as you mentioned, with the Caitlyn, but this comp looks so similar. It's one champion different. Golden Guardians were the ones we expected to make the change, though, and they certainly have. I like the Hauntzer has a bit more agency on this Lilia. They have good pick tools, and they are grouping up together, because it looks like it's time for a level 1. Yep.
Here we go, the invade. We did see, when Lilia was playing jungle yesterday, I believe, that kind of level 1 invade against Cloud9, that worked pretty effectively. And they will spot Broxah and Impact up here on the top side. Neither team going to be able to put down any sort of vision, but I'm really excited to see how Hauntzer actually does pilot this. We've seen Lilia be incredibly popular in the LPL, but pretty much exclusively as a jungle pick. Has popped up in Pro, here and there as a top laner, but very, very few and far between. As I said, Revenge did play it in Academy and NA, but that's the only pick that I have seen to come out in top lane, at least in NA.
Yep, a couple of picks in Academy, and that's about it in North America for top lane Lilia. So curious to see how Hauntzer can do, especially given that Mordekaiser is the champion that it seems like we need an answer for on both sides of this matchup, right? Both Impact and Hauntzer are very effective on this champion. We saw how much trouble Closer had, just contesting objectives on Mordekaiser in the game. So not only is Mord very stable for Impact and allows him to just do a lot of things that he's good at, which is be consistent and be effective in team fights, but it does add extra stress, extra money that you have to spend on QSS potentially. Otherwise, Impact is going to keep you in the Shadow Realm and very unhappy, but so far so good. Lilia passive in that spinning Q, plus the Arcane Comet, going to get things off to a good start here early.
Yeah, this is such an exciting matchup. It's always fun to kind of learn how a matchup goes, alongside it in a game, especially when there is something surprising. You don't think that Impact will have played a lot against this, so you were expecting that Hauntzer is going to be more comfortable in the matchup, that he is going to have more experience, playing Lilia top than Impact will have playing against it. And I think that's always, a nice advantage that you can have. Over here in the mid lane, Jensen, Flash already down, so you are expecting him to want to try to push in this matchup and try to lock Damonte under his tower, try to stop the roams, not by matching them, but by, punishing them with the constant push. But when you lose the Flash, there's always a risk of Graves plus TF killing you off if you're aggressively pushing. So Jensen's going to need to have really good vision or play it more safely, which would kind of take away some of that strategy that he wants to really go for.
Yeah, I'm curious to see why Jensen flashed, but perhaps Closer was in the area, perhaps just a gold card would have made a trade too bad. So whatever the reason is, Closer's down the bottom lane now, double bust level 3 with the phase rush, and it's time to gank the bottom lane. Tactical is the first one up to bat. FBI there going to go ahead and get a nice route down, but the follow-up damage isn't there. Damonte now getting pressed on here, and Broxah missing that Q, but Damonte didn't know that he had to flash anyway.
Yeah, it's really scary. You got to have a lot of confidence that you are reading that animation correctly to not flash in that situation, and it's kind of easy, in the moment as a caster to be watching and be like, oh, that missed. Aha. Okay, so here it is. So level 2 gank, red buff to mid, walk up, gold card, and you are going to have to flash. That was an intelligent flash there from Jensen, because if he doesn't and you land both sides of that Q there, you could just get flash followed by the Graves and killed off. So they were able to force that there, but because Broxah comes in and Jensen was laning well, they do force the flash on the other side. And down here on this bottom lane, we are seeing the kind of reverse of that matchup where, it's not as bad, I would say, as as having the Alistar as a laning partner because Bard can still contribute, but Bard is not going to be able to match the power of this Karma. And generally speaking, when you are playing these types of lanes, Karma just Qs the backline minions there, the range minions, as Huhi did, softens them up, and then you can actually line up for Qs through those, finish those off, and it pretty much guarantees you're going to have the push almost every single time. And when Caitlyn is locked under her tower, she just loses a lot of that power. You're playing on the back foot. It makes it much more easy to harass and to deny a lot of that.
This is starting to look annoying as Impact is going to get jumped on and queued, and the Comet comes flying through as well. Mana's getting low, health's getting low for Impact on the other side, but Hauntzer is just prancing around in the top lane right now. That is quite the lead, although there's a big wave crashing for Impact.
Yep, that is a really big lead though, and you're seeing, I mean, we saw just what I was talking about where, you know, Impact is getting sidestepped on his Qs because of all the move speed that is actually there. It is really, really annoying. If you're able to play that very well, as Hauntzer has, nice binding over on FBI, but the trap not going to be able to connect. But, you know, Hauntzer playing this great, creating a big lead for himself, and that's kind of what you want to do. If you can actually have the wave crashing and then zone off that top laner with your jungler showing up, which is exactly what they did, then you really start to extend those lead advantages.
I think got a blasting one as well, so Hauntzer building very aggressively for his early portion of the lane. Good coverage from Closer as well. Top lane just to make sure nothing funny was happening in a potential 2v1.
So Pastry, you know, I gotta get your take on this because you know, yesterday Captain Flowers said, you know, he would never in his play-by-play use the name of the Lilia W. Watch out, Eep. But Freak was saying that, you know, he would proudly yell that out. So what's your take? Are we going to get the watch out Eep in your play-by-play?
Potentially. I think I'm like a split the difference kind of guy. Like, Eep is a pretty fun word to yell. So, like, I could say...
Are you going to, like, RP it, you think?
I could see saying, like, Eep him. Or, like, I think Yeet the Eep was my response to Captain Flowers not wanting to say, watch out Eep on broadcast. But Lily is certainly my kind of champion. Just frustrating, annoying, and powerful. All good qualities.
All right, well, Impact in some trouble. Again, getting chased down. Like, look at the move speed. And he has gone Comet here. He's actually dropping the ulti. He slept. This is a perfect setup.
This is so sick. First blood on the horizon. Impact is going to burn down. Yes, he is. Hauntzer going to get that kill. That was so cool to watch.
That was clean. That was actually so nice. The last split second of the passive there was still on Impact, allowing him to drop the ulti as Damonte pops his and arrives. And he is just stuck in place. He's not level 6 because he got zoned off the previous waves on that push. So this was so well done. And this is all started, you know, from that previous attack, from that previous push in and denial of experience. Because if Impact is 6, you can't necessarily go for this type of play. And then as the passive is expiring, sleep comes in. Remember, when that sleep breaks, the damage comes out from it. Reapplying that passive just backs it up, knows that he's going to be able to burn him down. And this is a big lead for Hauntzer on that top side in a very unexpected way. So this is honestly super cool to see this coming through from Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I think one of the things about Sleep that's so fascinating is, like, it's such a unique kind of CC, but most of the time it just kind of gets used like a generic stun, right? They fall asleep and then the other CC happens and you chain it that way. That was one of the few instances I've seen where Sleep was used specifically as a setup tool, right? Using the unique property of actual sleep to set up a really nice ulti there from Damonte. So love the synergy, love this as well for Golden Guardians if you're on their side. Broxah's getting caught. He's about to be second-blooded. No, he's okay. Forced to flash over the wall, but that does give control of the dragon to the Golden Guardians.
Really nicely done. They're being able to focus on that top side and still contest on the bottom side because they have that winning 2v2. They are pushing in there, and you know they're kind of winning on both sides of the map right now. You know they're way up, and this is night and day from last game where it was like no action. You know, sitting back, losing all lanes as Golden Guardians, it felt like, and TL was just totally in their comfort zone. This is Golden Guardians pushing Team Liquid. This is Golden Guardians saying, Team Liquid, you need to do something. You need to step up and try to come at us, because if they're able to be the ones, you know, stacking those dragons, that's going to force the hand of Team Liquid, right? We already know with Infernal coming up next, it's either going to be Ocean or Mountain. Both are fairly useful. In general, people feel like Ocean is the most powerful, but... Oh.
Closer does get the blue buff. He's in the Shadow Realm, though. Closer actually just buying some distance. Smoke screen down, trying to dance around, but here comes Lilia, but CoreJJ also in there. Closer eating a lot of damage here as he finally cats out over the wall. Dodges the Q as well. Now Hauntzer gonna have to save his buddies. Needs to put somebody to sleep, but CoreJJ finishes off the first kill. And there's a roam up from TL as well as Impact. Core is already here. So with Jensen pushing from the mid lane, Golden Guardians cannot get an exit kill.
Good roam and punish, but I can't help but feel Closer could have just smited that when it was a lot higher health and just walked away before Impact got in range. At the very least, Impact would have had to flash to actually try to contest it. We'll see if Golden Guardians can punish this, though. In they go.
Once again, asleep is Impact. Ooh, a good set ulti as well from downtown. FBI is going to pick off Broxah, and TL are out of there. They want nothing to do with this Rift Herald.
Hauntzer is on fire in this game. Q flash in, setting up the multi-man sleep for himself right as the TF arrives. Senna ultimate coming in for the reinforcements from that bottom lane. This is their plan in action here. So despite the mistake from Closer giving over a free kill, they're still able to grab a kill back, take away that Rift Herald. They're over 2,000 gold ahead. Nice sidestep there from FBI, and they've got the Rift Herald to boot, so they can actually extend this lead even further.
Yeah, and I mean, a great early game lead. Still early days, of course, in this game, but at the end of this game, we made back the question, why wasn't this the game one draft, right? You look very comfortable in this situation, but we'll scratch all that. It's time to focus on this one. 2K up and potentially more with the Herald, as you mentioned. FBI seeming just fine in the solo situation, and 4 TCS ahead for Hauntzer.
That's quite a few. It's doing pretty well there, I have to say, and the Rift Herald is on Huhi, so there's not much threat of it actually getting dropped. Otherwise, this would just be a top tower kill. Maybe they felt like they wanted on Huhi specifically for that bottom lane, but I would have liked to see someone grab it, who could actually bring it up towards that top side and cash in on that, take away that protection of that tier 1 tower from Impact. But that is fairly minor. Jensen, though, at least being able to take a tower plate back here, punish on that bottom side. Closer coming through that bottom lane, so we'll see if they can push out here and get that Rift Herald down.
Oh,
eventually.
That portal, thankfully, does not cost Tactical his life. Misplaced there by CoreJJ, because the root did hit by FBI.
Little baby portal.
On point with the skill shots. Lander's Torment, by the way, finished for Hauntzer, which is very common in the solo lane Lilias. Also common in the jungle after you get your jungle item. But if things were bad for Impact before, they are terrible now in the 1v1.
They really are, but the question is, if Hauntzer can't actually take down the tower at this point, can he extend the advantage, right? I do think that he has a pretty enormous advantage, but if they just kind of farm even from this point, because the Rift Herald's not there to actually crack up on that top side, then Impact may be able to get a bit back towards the comfort zone. I'm also really interested to see where Hauntzer is going to take us from here. I've seen a lot of different variations of Lily in the soul lanes. I've seen Leandry's into essentially full tank. I've seen Leandra's Rylai's into tank. I've seen full AP. So Hauntzer's take on it will be interesting. I do think, at some point you want to get some sort of tankiness in that build. Whether it's a Deadman's for the move speed to be able to position your Qs better, or something, like a Spirit Visage. Both can work, but because of the nature of the champion, you're relatively squishy, and you have to throw yourself into the middle, and that puts you at risk.
Hauntzer going to have to dash out of there. Broxah, they're going to find that Q. Help is on the way, but not soon enough. Hauntzer is going to be clawed back and not killed. No, I take it back. Broxah, with the red smite, is able to take him out.
Yeah, the burn barely getting Hauntzer there. The sleep was nice to try to get out. Honestly, pretty close. If he took a little bit less damage there, he could have escaped potentially. But Broxah able to finish him off just before Closer can arrive with the peel. So a nice roam there from CoreJJ. Him and Broxah being able to group up to get something done. Very important that they do limit this lead because it was getting pretty big.
Ooh, Damonte going to get sped in there for a gold card, but Jensen setting up the soldier to dash back to, didn't dash back in time, so it's an empowered Q for his trouble, but just some poke there and nothing else following. But Golden Guardians trying to wrest control of this dragon area once again. They are onto the Infernal.
And that's why that poke matters, right? Because Jensen, does have to use those health potions, so he's not going to be in a terrible spot, but they are trying to poke him out to dissuade any sort of a take. May be down to the smite here.
Yep, steal incoming, not given though, is Damonte going to find Broxah in the back of the pits. Huhi getting jumped on. Broxah going to flash out over the wall, but Impact's put Huhi in the Shadow Realm, so he's going to have to kite it out for a long time, and he just doesn't have that at all, as Tactical's going to take him out once he pops out of the realm. So Golden Guardians, they do get the dragon, but it does cost them their support.
Honestly, not a big deal. It's a pretty small price to pay.
Agreed.
I mean, you're giving over the karma, but you got teleport off of Impact, you got the dragon, you got flash off of Broxah. So I think you should be happy with it, and I'm glad that Golden Guardians didn't overcommit to try to defend him and potentially risk actually just losing a fight off of it, because they are continuing to snowball this, and this is Ocean Soul. We are going to see TL want to fight this next dragon for sure. So it's just going to be, can they get themselves into a position where they are ready to do it? Will they be strong enough to be in that spot, because last time it was TL that had the significant advantage coming up to this Dragon Pit, and despite the fact that TL has closed the gold lead a lot, it is still Golden Guardians with the advantage.
Yep, Hauntzer now back to his rightful 1v1 up against Impact. That CS lead has diminished somewhat, but Hauntzer is still being awfully annoying as FBI going to go ahead and catch this top wave. Not quite transformed on the Mana Mune, but can't be too far away at this point. As Closer and Huhi clear out this vision here. There's probably just going to be a bit of waiting between the next Dragons, but as you mentioned, that's certainly something that Golden Guardians, given the position of this game, are happy to wait and fight for, because Team Liquid must start contesting for those objectives.
And we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Lethality will be the build here for FBI following the Muramana. So I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, there's no true tank over on the other side. No one's building up any armor at this point. You do have, you know, really fed AP threat with this Lilia up on the top side. So going for that flat armor pen makes a lot of sense. Closer likely going to be doing the same thing here. So they will have quite a bit of burst, right? And they also have a fair bit of backline reach. If Hauntzer can actually land a sleep onto multiple people, you're going to have not only the Senna ult, but in a team fight, you'll have Graves ultimate, you'll have Wildcard, potentially poke from that Karma. So there is the potential, if Hauntzer can get that set up, to really just burst someone down 100 to 0 in that backline.
Hauntzer going to clear out this crab, give himself a little bit of vision. Impact, though, going to contest. Who is going to win Iron Chef Battle Crab? Ooh, Hauntzer actually just going to get ulted by Impact instead, so now he's just going to kite it out because Broxah's on the way. The Claw is going to connect. Hauntzer is going to put him to sleep, but he's not going to be out in time. Broxah misses the Q, but he's got the Ward Hop follow-up, and everything's A-okay.
Yeah, stepping forward there, well, pretty much no one from his team was down on that side. Was pretty greedy from Hauntzer. I know you want that crab. It's worth so much gold, but that is not a play he should be going for. And second death here, you know, for Hauntzer. The lead that he built up is disappearing. He was up 40 plus CS before with no assist or anything to Impact's name. Impact is picking up not only the farm, you know, closing the gap there, but he's grabbed a lot of gold for himself. Like, the gold is basically even now between these top laners after a couple of picks on Hauntzer. The last one felt less avoidable. This one felt like he got a bit greedy.
Yeah, I think so, as Hauntzer does TP back to the lane as well, so doesn't want to let Impact take too many shots on the tower. Also, the second Nerf Child has been taken by Golden Guardians, but the first one was used top, I think either because they had the setup or the timer was low, and then Hauntzer died before he could actually collect the plate gold. So still first tower on the board as well for a bit of bonus money, but Golden Guardian's going to have to try and get better use out of the Rift Child. We've already seen one go to waste due to Hauntzer getting picked off by a nice roam from Core and Broxah, and of course CoreJJ already demonstrated his ability to tempered fate the tower with the Rift Child up. So Golden Guardians, despite getting the objective, struggling to make use of it thanks to how pesky CoreJJ is being.
And the gold lead is slipping further and further away. They're only up a couple hundred gold now. You know, this was a couple thousand gold at 9 minutes. It was like over 2,000 gold, which was a pretty huge lead at that point in the game. But traditionally, Golden Guardians have had an incredible early game and really struggled in the mid game. And we're kind of, you know, entering that point where TL is just making better decisions on the map. They're moving around better. They're better coordinated. And as a result, they are extending farm leads in some areas, closing gaps in others. And, you know, really just kind of gotten so much more out of the last 8-9 minutes or so. A lot of it will come down to this next Dragon fight, though. So important for Golden Guardians to hang on to that lead. But TL looking for another pick here on Hauntzer, and he's in a spot he might just get killed.
Q's going to land, kick back happens. Impact with a very big hammer coming down. The double sleep is enough for now. But Hauntzer, where's he going to run to? Oh, that was cute as hell. Queuing around trying to dance. He's got to avoid a lot of skill shots, but he can't avoid them all. It's Broxah as he pops out, so he gets the kill.
3 picks now on Hauntzer in those side lanes. The last 2 pretty close together. Likely means that is going to be TL taking away the Dragon, which is such a big deal. CoreJJ denies the Rift Herald charge. They won't even get anything from that. I mean, what did they expect? They dropped it right with him there. I'm pretty sure they had knowledge that the Bard was in the area. And now Damonte may get picked here by Jensen.
Ooh, caught shopping. Not a good time. Damonte is going to be forced to flash out. Jensen, by the way, is the one to get the first tower. Thanks to that Rift Herald. Close though, he's flashing. He's going to try and make something happen on the Broxah. Broxah is going to burn the Summoner and get out of there. And now Impact closing in the rest of Golden Guardians here. They're going to lock up Impact, but he's pretty tanky at this stage of the game. The center heals are continuing to happen as Closer finally takes on Impact, and FBI and Huhi are going to be the ones to try and save this mid-game.
The shields were so big there on Closer. He got the empowered, the Mantra shield from the Karma, plus the Senna ultimate shield at the same time. The Senna heal comes through, so TL just underestimating the protection that they had there, and that was a fight that they were looking to take. Impact didn't have his ultimate, so they just fight their way out of it. And Golden Guardians, despite getting picked, they're the ones who actually end up getting the dragon because TL did not make a quick move towards that pit. So pretty good play there from Golden Guardians, but also a mistake from TL to not just try to force the issue right on spawn when they did have that 5v4 advantage. Yes, Jensen was on the top side, but he had teleport, so they could have just pushed that and eliminated that quick soul stacking potential that Golden Guardians has, because they are now 4.5 minutes away from a potential Ocean Soul.
Yep, and that is the snowball that Golden Guardians will be looking to sew up this game. Second item also done for FBI now, and it's Edge of Night, wanting some protection from Bard most particularly, but plenty of good reasons to buy the more defensive lethality item. And Transform should be underway, not quite there yet, but can't imagine it's too far off given how long he's had that item. Tactical has caught up in CS after that laning phase, so it's been kind of just vacuuming up farm in the mid lane, but we've seen the power of the utility between these two champions on the Golden Guardian side, and if fights continue to go like that, Closer can be super powered with his aggressive build as well through these team fights. Golden Guardian's going to have a much better time trying to take over a game from Team Liquid, which is honestly just a challenge in and of itself. Liquid, again, makes so few mistakes that I would say it's less about Golden Guardians being not that good at converting their leads, because I think that has not been as true in the back half of their season, but Team Liquid are just such a hard team to open up.
Yeah, exactly. They've been really actually difficult to crack, and they are ahead in gold despite everything that has been going on. You know, it's mostly down to that dragon takes that Golden Guardians can have to do. Oh, knocked out that Edge of Night, and he does force the flash. Yep,
FBI forced to get out of there, so couldn't quite sidestep it. Very well placed, as expected by CoreJJ. Golden Guardians will continue this 2v2 push of the mid lane. Everyone wants to knock down the mid outer tower. Golden Guardians are the closest by a lot, but have to be careful not to get picked off in the process. Closer also going to take the blue buff because Twisted Fate is top lane, but CoreJJ has something to say about that. He's going to get some vision, and Closer's going to go ahead and escort the buff to safety.
Yeah, so we'll be able to secure that for themselves. TL setting up around that Baron pit. We'll see if they're going to be looking for any sort of aggressive plays towards it like they did last game. They do have the Azir, so they have the potential to look for that, but would be risky, and Tactical may be getting caught out.
Here comes Damonte, wrong side, but the portal is going to keep him safe. That does open up enough space to take down mid tower at least, but Tactical does find the safety of his teammates. Golden Guardians are going to try and knock the last few orders into this tower. And Damonte with the Lich Bane completed alongside that 10-stack Rod of Ages is going to be enough, but he's now caught by Impact. Pops the Ghost, gets put into the Death Realm, and doesn't have all that many places to ghost around to. He's going to try and stay near his teammates. Impact wants him dead. Damonte going to get pulled back. No, it misses, and now the turn could happen here. Hauntzer also joining in the fight. The center ulti is real nice through most of Team Liquid, and Epic, just misses. Impact actually is going to go drowsy, but they don't have the follow-up. Looks like he got woken up by a stray spell that came through for Golden Guardians, so no picks forthcoming, as Golden Guardians do counterpunch well. All right, well, Golden Guardians going to go ahead and clear out this crab because it is time to set up for that next dragon. They took the mid-outer. They've got a little bit more space to work with in the central section of the map. A minute 30 until that dragon is up.
And that's what it's going to come down to. It's just going to be all about this next potential fight. TL have gotten themselves to a position where they will be able to fight for this. They're going to be strong, looking for this next dragon, and you know, they have the 2 items on Azir. They should be able to likely finish their second item here on Tactical on this Caitlyn. And it's just going to be up to execution. Who's going to be able to get to the area first? The lead in that top lane for Hauntzer is largely gone. And Hauntzer is just going to have to try to be able to find that good setup with the sleep. You know, we saw that executed a couple times early on in the game. And we'll see if he can find any sort of picks with it, you know, coming up potentially for this dragon fight.
Has gone a bit more aggressive with his build, though, as you mentioned. There seems to be lots of different ways you can take Lilia as a champion. He is going for kind of a classic combination, Rylai's plus Liandry's, so going to be a lot about utility and damage over time, and setting up long fights where he can chase people down with the extra move speed from the Q. Certainly would love to see a cool setup Lilia fight. We've seen a lot of good uses of her pick tools in combination with TF, but I am looking for, you know, a 5-man Q into 5-man sleep, which is ambitious, but certainly effective if you can land it. That is the dream, the literal dream. They all fall asleep as TL trying to get traction around this dragon pit because they know they need to take this dragon ASAP. Golden Guardians are trying to wiggle their way in through mid lane. Damonte is also escorting some minions to the top side, so getting that pressure happening there as well. The Dragon is spawning in 3 seconds. TL, though, will be first to the objective if they want it.
Yeah, they have that inside track, but Golden Guardians do have the mid lane push, but they've got no minions alive right now. TL was able to thin that out, so TL is just going to go straight onto this. It may come down if they're going to rush it to a straight up steal, but they have Mordekaiser, so Closer will just get ulted out.
Yeah, Damonte also looking for the flank, but into stasis he goes. Senna ulti out as well. The steal, though, could happen, though, but the Mordekaiser ult does happen to Broxah. Able to get the Dragon, but can Golden Guardians win the team fight? Tactical dead. Asleep at the wheel is CoreJJ. He's going to be the second to fall, as it's 2 picks already for Golden Guardians. Impact the next one, but Huhi just gets demolished by that Mordekaiser, as he's going to pick up a double to even up the fight. 3v3 now as the health bars don't look healthy, but Golden Guardians going to back away.
Nicely done by TL. They managed to kill off that Dragon, preventing Golden Guardians from actually getting that soul. And vision was so critical in the final moments of that fight. Both Jensen and Impact were incredibly low in that tri-brush, but they didn't have any sort of ward. They didn't have any way to get in. So the initial fight here is started off by Damonte. He goes in with the ultimate. They know they needed to force because the Dragon was getting low, and Closer instead is actually the one trying to burst this down. They're trying to zone Broxah out. You can see Huhi was trying to get the tether over onto him, but Impact was always going to ult him. So I do think that Closer should have ignored the Dragon, gone for the fight, instead of trying to finish that off. And now this is where it looks like Golden Guardians could actually take over here, but they have the pink ward in that tri-brush, and notice how FBI steps forward, but he actually loses vision. He can't continue to auto-attack there because that pink ward is denying vision. TL stops attacking, and if he funneled forward into those Azir soldiers, he would have just been absolutely shredded. So Golden Guardians do come out, very even in the fight, but it's TL who take the Dragon.
We'll be looking to use that ult on cooldown. Apologies, as I am back, I believe.
I can hear you, so hopefully
Hello.
you're here.
I believe I am. But Damonte with the rapid fire cannon was looking for the pick, didn't find it though in the mid lane.
Yeah, so not able to get that, but he did go for that rapid fire third, as you said. Looking to have a little bit more engage. That is one of kind of the weaknesses, I would say, of their composition here. So he's trying to shore that up a bit. Looking to be able to grab picks with those long-range gold cards. They definitely have good follow-up, but the initial engage is going to be the hardest part for them. You can see QSS is bought up now, finally, by Closer. Last game, he did not go for it the whole time through. This time, he is realizing that he needs the QSS. Maybe he had a discussion with the coaching staff in between games and is going to be able to pick that up for himself. So it won't just be the guaranteed Mord ult into Secure for TL. And come time for this next Dragon fight, it's going to be a true 50-50 if TL tries to just rush it down like that, because Closer will be able to QSS out of the Mordekaiser ultimate, will be able to get an opportunity at stealing that Dragon and securing Ocean Soul.
Yep, I like this little change from Closer. I think realizing in the last game that there's just too many moments where he needed to get through that Mordekaiser ult and just couldn't. So I like seeing him go for the QSS much earlier in this game. Duskblade now completed for FBI, so he's doubling down on the lethality right now for the center. And as I mentioned already, it is third item RFC for Damonte, so very focused on ulting around and trying to get long-range gold cards to pick people off. So you can kind of see what Golden Guardians are putting together as far as team fight goes. It's going to be pretty scrappy, going to be very oriented on picking people off once they have vision and control of the area. We already saw what Team Liquid wanted to do last game. They're happy to play 5v5 and just use their strong carries in Azir and Caitlyn with good frontline from Impact and Broxah to get things going. But Golden Guardian certainly threatening with this soul, as it will be up in a minute 20. Just need to find the right angle. It's been close for Golden Guardians, but it's not been quite enough to tip the game, far enough in their favor that it feels like they're a few steps away from winning. This game's still staying very tense at 28 minutes.
It is incredibly close, and honestly, I don't even think that Ocean Soul guarantees them the win in this game, because they are a lot of really squishy champions, and there's still potential that TL can burst people down, and then, if you get burst down really quickly, Ocean Soul doesn't really have time to kind of do its job to really be very effective. It's mostly incredibly effective on tanks because you can't just one-shot them, so they're always going to get use out of it. Of course, it's still a very big advantage. So they will be trying to look for that and increase their chances. But the game pretty much dead even at this point. Golden Guardians trying to play more towards these side lanes. They do have the Lich Bane as well as all the attack speed here from that rapid fire. So Damonte is shredding through these towers pretty darn quick. And he has his ultimate. He is level 16, so rank 3 ultimate is very, very long range, and they're going to be looking to try to see if they can maybe set up a play. You know, if you can force someone to answer down on that bottom side, you have the potential of just ulting straight over to the team and looking to try to get an engage before impact could arrive.
Well, the interesting thing is that TL, setting up the Sun Tower there in mid, have actually closed off
Dragons are basing
the Dragon area. Yeah, I don't want to base right now with 1 second till the Dragon spawn. Damonte's probably fine to base. He's got his ulti, but closes on the wrong side of the rift to get this objective.
I guess they're just not even going to challenge. This seems bizarre to me. It's kind of like they made the call, like, we just can't win a fight now. But that's pretty concerning if you're not even willing to challenge for Soul when you have all 5 members up. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for at that point. And, you know, with Spooky Ghost even as the buy here for Damonte, and the fact they didn't even go over to the Soul, like, they clearly had no intention. Because Closer's farming Krugs and Karma's basing. That, to me, says, like, Golden Guardians has basically made the call. We don't win 5v5 ever again. Time to just split push. And now we'll see if that's what they're going to hard commit towards. I mean, if it is, it feels pretty difficult, I think, to deal lethal damage with just the TF as a true side lane threat, because, you know, it's not going to be that long until TL is threatening Soul.
Yeah, 2 more Dragons, of course, as they've got 2 now, taking those Oceans away from Golden Guardians. We'll see if the shifts in game plan does work out for Golden Guardians, but I think that is a good assessment given that they very clearly intentionally gave up the chance at Soul. Closer though, counter jungling this blue. Does give it over to Damonte, so he's going to be made even more effective in his mission to push down the side lane for as long as humanly possible. And they do have opened up a lot of space around this Baron as a result, which would certainly help that plan if they do want to do some sort of 4-1 or 1-3-1 style.
Yeah, I mean, they can hope that maybe TL sent too many members to a side lane to try to answer, and then you can rush a Baron or something because they have pretty good damage, but I just don't think that TF is really the champion that threatens to just, like, insta-kill your base. You know, he's never going to be able to just kill Impact in that 1v1. You know, Impact is built, you know, no MR, but he's got a tremendous amount of health. So he's not going to be burst down by a TF, and really that's all TF can threaten. Doesn't really have a tremendous amount of high DPS. So I do think it's fairly easy for Jensen or Impact to answer, whoever has teleport, and then, you know, you're not going to really have that threat of like constantly forcing the globals. TL is just going to go to Baron now and say, all right, come to us, let's fight. You don't want to fight, we're going to make you.
Yeah, good call here. Good ult as well from Damonte to reveal off the Baron, but it's going down very quickly. FBI is zipping over in the mist. Damonte is tallied in as well, but the Baron might just be finished off here. Closer going to have to get in there pretty quickly if he wants it. FBI poking away at CoreJJ, and that is a massive amount of damage from that center. So GG do a good job of forcing TL off the Baron. What else do they get after it, though?
Not much just yet, but they do have the inside track on mid lane, so we'll see if they can actually take a tower or something from that. Lilia also has quite good poke, you know, at this point in the game. You know, just throwing out the swirl seeds or E constantly around that Baron can be fairly annoying. Wild cards obviously over the wall there too, so, you know, TL, it would have been very risky for them to stay on that Baron and try to just 50-50 it. But for now, I think they're going to say mission accomplished, right? Because they got the teleport out of Hauntzer, they got the ultimate out of Damonte, so that is limiting the ability of Golden Guardians to play heavily towards those side lanes. Hauntzer now pretty much just has to be grouped.
Ooh, and Jensen with the attempt, but Closer going to flash on out of there as Hauntzer maybe going to put Azir to sleep here if they do want to get the counter kill, but just going to spin around, do a pretty good amount of poke damage actually. Golden Guardians won't commit to anything here with all the rest of TL except for Impact all grouped together. Again, it is a lot about playing these side lanes, being annoying, poking people down as Hauntzer chucks those E's over towards Team Liquid. But the Baron threat is starting to become very real. That Soul threat, of course, is ticking up for Liquid as well, as the next Dragon will spawn in a minute 50. Senna is strong. Graves also decently strong as well. But Golden Guardians, I think, just having trouble figuring out how they want to be navigating this game. They still have a gold lead, actually, if you look up at the gold, but it's not reflective in how the play is, you know, happening.
Yeah, I mean, they need a pick, right? Essentially is what they have made the call on. But it's going to be rushed down here again.
Oh,
Broxah gets in there. It's almost dead.
Yeah, going to have to go for the seal instead. Close looking for it. Isn't going to get it, but the fight could go over to GG here. FBI not able to get around the fight just yet as Jensen's able to take down Haunted. Damonte getting very aggressive as FBI. He flashes in as well. That looks suicidal, and indeed, he will be fed by Team Liquid. Golden Guardians, they wanted to win the team fight desperately, but were given nothing but an ace, and the Baron over to Team Liquid as Huhi is maybe going to escape. But Broxah looking for one more Q as Huhi is going to juke it, but he's the only one left to tell the tale.
Yeah, Golden Guardians hard commit to that fight, and they actually got so much AoE down in the members of the pit, but FBI and Closer were not even there until members had already died off, and then FBI, I think, just kind of panic flashed in there, realizing, oh god, we may have just lost the game, you know, trying to clean up those Baron buffs, trying to make something happen, but Senna is not that champion. Senna is not the montage 1v5 style champion who could just clean up a fight like that, so he just gets immediately wiped off the map. That's going to be multiple inhibitors going down. Dragon is spawning. Maybe Golden Guardians make one last-ditch effort to try to rush for it, but I think the TL could even just retreat back towards that Dragon and grab themselves Soul Point.
Yeah, no need to panic here on the Team Liquid side as teleport's coming in. Golden Guardian's going to try and play very fast here. Impact going to get stunned up here. Huhi needs to follow up, but does get the slow and doesn't have his ulti, which is pretty good news, but the TP is going to come back through. Huhi now the target on the Team Liquid side, and that slam with Broxah coming in with the resonating strike is more than enough to finish off the kill. So Golden Guardians can't even play a fair fight around the Dragon.
No, I mean, it's desperation time at this point. And I just think the Golden Guardians kind of missed their window, right? They weren't actually willing to commit to it earlier when it was that 3-1 Dragon score, and as a result, they're forced to maybe look for a pick here. They probably can kill off Jensen.
Yeah, he's asleep. That's going to be an easy kill, and that flash even caught by Hauntzer at the end of it all. Impact also a little bit too far forward. FBI going to get ulted up here, but Impact's just going to get shredded here. Who's in the death realm? I believe it's Damonte. But Broxah is going to try and finish off the rest of the fight. Hauntzer though staying alive. FBI kiting back. The exhaust is very good from CoreJJ. The stun's going to latch as well. And Tactical just barely able to finish him off as the rest of TL will save the day. That looked like maybe Golden Guardians were holding off in this game. But now a 4v2 as Huhi and Closer must defend their base.
And that should do it. You just take down this top lane inhibitor. You wait for the super minions in mid lane. And they should be able to close out the game. All of the main carries here down for Golden Guardians. Long res timers there, and TL going to be able to put us to match point.
Yeah, looking like it's going to be a GG here in game number 2. Team Liquid going to finish off the Nexus Towers, and Huhi and Closer just going to watch. Yeah, Closer's going to fire off the Celebration ulti as Team Liquid are going to make it 2-0, game away from staying in the upper bracket and clinching their spot at Worlds.
I really liked the attempt here from Golden Guardians, though. A different look from them, you know, in game 2. But TL showing that they are too solid. They are stronger in the mid game, better decision making, better ability to actually play the map. And Golden Guardians did not feel confident to try to force for Soul, which they had been working toward that whole game. And then, you know, as soon as TL realizes, oh, you're not willing to take a 5v5? All right. See you at Baron, right? They're going to force it. They're not just going to sit back and try to answer your side lanes the whole time. TL knew that they had the ability to rush down Baron, you know, with the Azir. I think they just straight up outplayed Golden Guardians as far as the map game, as far as the macro game. They're clearly looking like the stronger squad, and you know, Golden Guardians are going to have to try to come up with something special now to win 3 straight if they want to be able to take down TL.
Yeah, going to be a tough one, but TL looked like the #1 seed for a reason. It was stepping away though, but when we return, the State Farm Analyst Test is going to break down game number 2.